Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us this afternoon for our webinar on school-wide composting, strategies to launch a successful composting program. We're really excited to have you here and to be joined by folks from the Brookline Public Schools who have a really exceptional program. And my name is Simca Horwitz. I work with Massachusetts Farm to School. This is one in a series of professional learning opportunities that we offer for schools. I hope you check out some of our other ones, which you can find on our website. I'm going to be turning it over to Rebecca in just a minute, and we also have interpretation with us throughout the webinar, which you'll also see in your screen. So thanks so much for joining us, and I will turn it over to Rebecca. And we do have the chat enabled, so if you have questions, please feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll address those in a Q&A session at the end. Oh, and wonderful, we have Rebecca's colleague, Sasha, who's the Director of Food and Nutrition Services for the Brookline Public Schools, also joining us. So I'll turn it over to the two of them to introduce themselves and kick us off.
All right, I can start. Sorry to be late. I'm Sasha Palmer. I'm the Director of Food Services for the Brookline Public Schools.
And I'm Rebecca Salguero. I'm the Sustainability Coordinator for Food Services in Brookline. Okay, so let's start. I would like to talk about what makes a composting program successful. But first of all, I would like to introduce what actually prompted the community to start this. And I think the most important thing is the community demand. That's what they wanted. There was a lot of push from parents and from students about composting. What are we doing about composting? What are we doing about zero waste, less trash? What can we do? And that's what actually the whole thing started. At the same time, we put together the climate action plan, and then the zero waste framework came. There are like small pieces of a big plan that started with the push of the community. So then at the same time, also the statewide legislation about waste ban, and then Brookline DPW, they got a recycle dividend fund that kickstarted the composting because we were able to fund the program. Then I was hired as the sustainability coordinator for public schools, and that is the background of Brookline. Is the push of the community put this push into some tangible thing like policies and frameworks, and have the necessary fund to start the program. So that is the background. Next slide, please. Okay. In Brookline, that may look different in your own district, but in Brookline, it's a collaboration between public works and the food services. Food services is in charge of composting back of the house, in the cafeteria, do all the trainings for the staff, and switching to reusables and zero waste initiatives like reducing, packages and those kind of things. DPW is in charge of more of the front of the house procedures. So they are the ones contacting the compost company, and they did this wonderful compost guide. It's in the website. It's very comprehensive. I really recommend that if you want to start a program in your school, go to this guide. We already did a lot of work, so just adapt it to your own district. So we both collaborate, we both come together. We involve a lot of stakeholders, and that's how in Brookline works. Again, that may look different in your district, but that's how we do it here. Next slide, please. Okay, So the buy-in. The most important thing is creating a composting steering committee. Custodians needs to be part of the conversation. School administration needs to be part of the conversation. Kitchen staff, students, parents. We have a lot of parents volunteers here in the district, so it's very important to have everybody on board, create a composting steering committee, and create the plan that is going to work for your own school. Each school had a different approach. They are maybe very similar in some cases. Some are because of logistics, the way the school setting make it like the program is a little bit different. So that's why it's very important that you have a framework and you're going to work within this framework, but you need to create a specific committee within the school to make it work. The other thing that I wanted to mention is, and that's why I think the collaboration between the DPW and food services is very important, because whatever we are using in the cafeteria is going to impact the composting program. If we are not very consistent with the serviceware, if we keep on changing things, if we are not reducing as much as possible small packages, more containers, it's going to affect the composting. It's going to make things very hard for the students to understand what is the process, what is compostable, what is not compostable. It's going to be very hard for custodians because they will have to they will see contamination and they will have to notify us. For the teachers, it's the same. So it's extremely important that you collaborate with your food service program, if it's in-house or a management company, that you create a plan together and you teach the student and the community. These are the items that we are going to use. It's very simple, it's very easy, and then it's going to make life much easier than in the lunchroom. Next slide, please. Another thing that I want to mention is DPW and food services, we help out with the program, but ultimately it's the program needs to be owned by the school. They need to agree on how is the program going to work, what is going to happen if we have any problems with the program, who is going to be the contact person, who is going to be those reach out videos that we have. So it's very, very important that the school has the ownership of the program to make it very successful. If it's a school program, the school community is going to be more involved. They're going to be very proud of have their own program. As you can see, for example, this school, the mascot was there, and they were teaching the kids about the composting. So the kids were super excited, and they feel like, oh, this is our program. This is something that we did. So that's extremely important. Next slide, please. Okay. The other part is, this is all in the framework that we put together in the guide. We have a set of education trainings that can be that we usually share beforehand with the committee, and there are trainings for students, there are trainings for teachers, there are trainings that the students create for other students, and we have outreach efforts for the community or for the parents, or in this case for other community. So this is also very important that this is part of owning the program. You create your own videos, you create your own materials. We can help you out and provide the framework, but at the end of the day, you are going to be the one creating the whole excitement around the program, right? I don't know if you are able to play that video. I just want to share the video that one of the schools created for teaching the kids how the compost is going to work out. Yeah, let's see. You cannot hear, right? That's too bad. can. Okay.
Not your fault, just something that's been kind of the way.
Hold on. Let me start it again.
Thank you.
Hey, school. Each day in the cafeteria, hundreds of kids eat their food, as they should. But the food that we've been eating, a lot of that ends up in the garbage can. Not your fault, but just something that's been kind of the way things have been working here at school. A few years, we've tried to relaunch composting. This idea where instead of putting food into the trash bin, we put it into a compost bin. So then that food can then become dirt in essence, and then that dirt can, be used to grow more food. It's a really amazing concept, which keeps our earth green rather than destroying it by putting garbage bags to then fill up landfills or trash incinerators where garbage is then burnt. So we're going to try this again. We've done it a few times when we've learned so many important lessons. And this is going to be our final push, the final launch of composting, so that each school year, all of our students and staff are composting at school and helping our earth in our town and our city becoming better and better places. So you're about to watch a really fun video that a lot of people have put in a hard work to teach you all about composting and refresh your brain so that we can relaunch composting again. Thank you.
Come check it out. See what's in there today. This is our compost bin back here. See what's in it. Oh, here's our company, Black Earth Compost. This says compost only. See what's in it. It's lunch then. Looks like there's some mozzarella sticks and something else. I don't know what that green thing is. Maybe a pepper. And there's a fork in there. Did you know you're going to be able to compost utensils?
Think, yeah, you can move a little bit forward because because these are slides for the teachers, so they have some slides to talk during class. Yeah, there.
Oh no, I don't know what to do. If it's compost or trash, who cares anyways? Compost! It does matter? It really matters? Okay. Help. Okay, did you right? Here, okay. All right, this one for sure. Oh, these two? Okay. do we, the humans, compost, but Hawk also composts. See, there's his water and his food. All these little cups are compostable. And the food inside, this is dried up, it's just made from fruit. So I take it, I put it here with the others, and then I take it to the cafeteria and I compost it. And then I take a new one from this bag. The bag is not compostable, but all these are. I can start the process all over again. Making this delicious meal. Powder, water, mix it up. And that's that. So everybody in the school is composting.
So yeah, this is an example of a video that one of our schools put together to share with students. And if you heard at the beginning, they were talking about relaunching the program, and that's what happened. Sometimes they have to relaunch because it didn't work out, and we didn't have. They started actually before we have like the framework put together. And this time, I'm very good news. It's working very beautifully. What they did is they have students monitor, so they can help other students when they go to the trash and they don't know exactly where to put the things, so they can help them out. And after a while, you don't need those anymore. So it's working very well. So it's a lot about training, a lot of communication with the community, with the parents, with the teachers, with the students. With the students, they especially middle school students, they love to go to the younger grades and teach how to do and teach a video. And obviously, if the mascot comes, then it's like a big hit. So that's how we approach it here in this particular school. Also, we are also phasing out all the single packages. Like for example, we don't have ketchup packages. We have squeeze bottles or dispensers, and small things like that. Those small things, they really contaminate the compost bin. So it's very important to get rid of those. And also it's much more environmental friendly. Next slide. Okay, once you have your program and it's working really good, what do you have to do is collect data. So that's very, very, very important, because you want to communicate if the program is successful, what have you actually done? What is your impact, right? So the first thing what we do is, before we start the program, is we do a trash audit. So we go, take all the trash apart, and we do also a big community event, or at least within just the school. As you can see on the right side, we went during recess one day, we took apart all the trash, and then we started separating. And it's really very impactful to see how much trash actually is just one day, or just one lunch actually. And the kids are like, wow, impressed. I didn't know that if you see it like visually, it's very impactful. So that's the first approach. It's like, oh, okay, I understand why we are doing that. And then we do also regular audits, either like once or twice a year at the end of the school year, to see first if it's working, if we have a lot of contamination. Usually if we have contamination, the compost company will contact us and say, well, no, you have too much contamination, we cannot accept that, but there are always some things. So it's a good thing to see what is actually ended up in the compost bin that it should not be. Maybe there are things from home that we need to communicate and say, hey, if you bring this from home, please put it in the trash. If you don't know if it's compostable, or just put it in the trash, those kind of things. So the data before, during, and after, it's very, very, very important. And the day of lunch, make a big party, make it a big excitement, bring the mascot, bring the school administration, and make it like a big thing. Refreshes, you think we have been talking about this, your teachers have been doing some presentations in your schools, and today is the day we're going to lunch. And that creates also this help of kind of excitement for the kids. Next slide. Okay, maintaining. It's not that we have this framework, we know what to do, we collected all the data beforehand, and then it's done and we go home. That's fortunately not how it works, right? So we touch base regularly with administrators and custodians. How is it working? What is it not working? Do we have to adjust and do some changes? It maybe changes logistically. I don't know, maybe they need more compost bins, or they prefer not to stack up the trays and just put it directly in the bin, or the kids are not lining up appropriately. It could be like a million things that they need to change. The good thing is that we have been composting in many schools here in Brooklyn. So we know that there are different settings that can work in different schools. So if this setting doesn't work, okay, we have an idea. Other schools that way, why don't you try? And put also the administrators in contact with each other. It's like, hey, maybe you want to touch base with this administrator because maybe you have an idea how they did it and now it's working very well. So school business, communication, logistics, and audits. So next slide. Talking about impact. So that it's, since we have been composting, that's the impact. That's impressive. This is 200, almost 250 tons compost since we started composting in 2023. That is equivalent to the whole Statue of Liberty or 50 school buses. And that is impressive because that would have ended in the landfill. And it's now soil that we reuse, and the circle is closed. So it's very impressive, especially for the kids. If you have to present them with some data, like, hey, all the work that you have been doing, it's paying off. And if you have school gardens, we also ask our compost company to donate some soil for us, so they can really see that whatever you have been doing in the cafeteria, you can use this soil for your veggie garden or your garden, the school garden that you are that you have in the school. So it's really like a very teachable moment. Next slide. Takeaways. Schools should own the program, not all the logistic, all the settings work in every single school. So make the framework and they will own the program and they will adjust to their own needs. The serviceware that you use in the cafeteria is extremely important to be very consistent and as easy and short list, I would say, not many items as possible. Students are more influential than adults. Have your kids teach other kids. That's what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the teachers. They don't want to hear us, but they will listen to other students. And data collection is very important. Do it before, especially before, because that's something that you are not going to be able to collect at all. So before you start, collect your data and do it as much as possible. Okay, next slide. I think we are done. Yeah, thank you very much. I don't know if Sasha would like to add something. Otherwise, I'm here to answer any question.
No, I wanted to add that since we've seen the impact and we've seen how we are fortunate to be a part of a community that is very involved and was very involved in getting this no longer an initiative, a program off the ground. And that is what makes it successful. You have everyone, all the stakeholders involved, every part of all our stakeholders have been contributing, and it is hopefully as excited as we are to share our progress and to be doing this work.
Awesome. So I really want to invite folks to put any questions in the chat. We do have a few more minutes to talk with Sasha and Rebecca, and maybe I can just kick things off. So this is a question for you, Sasha, in terms of operations. I'm wondering if, from thinking about like the finances of all of this, are there places where you guys have seen any cost savings due to bringing in composting? Presumably something was happening with the waste previously. So I'm wondering if you can compare it all, what it's looked like to have
I
compost versus just, the trash collection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So we composting came about and the whole drive or push to compost came about during COVID when everybody was going to individually packaged meal. And it was a huge, we saw the mountain of waste that we were putting out daily. And that prompted us to reach out. Somebody offered us a grant to fund this position that Rebecca is in and has consistently funded for over 3 years now. And hopefully we can one day fund it ourselves. But we have seen such a huge impact, and we potentially in terms of our the amount of money that is saved by going away from one of the things that we do, and I have to say that we paired composting with reusable. And while we're doing that, we also transitioned from single-use items, so all your single-use PCs, and we started buying things in bulk. So we saw a lot of saving by just making that one transition instead of doing the small PCs, and also transitioning from the disposable trays and so on, or compostable trays. We know how expensive those were, especially coming out of COVID. But because we may also made that switch and that trade-off, we saw a huge impact. We also saw, and Rebecca can give you the specifics in terms of the amount of money, but the impact that it has, not only composting, but we also wrap it up as a waste management. And when we manage waste in all areas. And that started with the usable, compostable. It's also in terms of labor, we've seen improvement in the amount that we spend on even labor. And people would think that, oh yeah, you've gone to reusable, you're doing composting, this is you must be using a lot of labor. But we actually saw such a huge difference in the amount that we were spending on supplies and labor by just doing that, because we look at waste comprehensively.
Awesome. And there were some
Yeah.
questions in the chat about like how you decide what's compostable. And Rebecca, if you could maybe share a little bit more about that
Yes.
and
Mhm.
like both the packaged materials, but also like the food itself, what's compostable.
Yeah. Um, that that is going to depend on what your compost company is going to accept. Our company, Black Earth, accept only PPR certified compostable materials, and they accept everything food, bones, fish, meat, everything. So yes, which so yeah, here's what happened. We started the program and it was not very consistent. That's a good thing about starting the program. And being like a couple of years into it, you learn. So that's why if you're starting the program, I would totally suggest, as Sasha said, do compostables and reusables at the same time. That is what makes you like save the most, because those certified compostable materials are great, but they are very expensive. And also at the end of the day, you are putting in the compost bin, but it's also trash. Let's say it's not something that you are going to reuse, right? Like the reusable. So much better if you want really want to see savings, you have to do reusables and compost at the same time. And yes, I'm not going to lie, composting is expensive. You will probably have to have like a grant that kickstart at least the program. And ideally, and I think that's sometimes what happens in school districts, that For example, I don't know about the tipping cost of the trash. You will have to, offset those expenses. Right now, I only see how much costs to compost, but I don't see how much cost trash tipping cost, which is not cheap. So you will see probably also, and also just so you know, we've gone. If you are composting, let me see. I think one of the schools went to from 10 to 12 trash bags a day to 1 or 2, which is huge. Is huge. It's also so much easier for the custodian because they are not going to have to switch all the time back and forth all the plastic bags and everything goes into the incinerator. So it's really. But going back to your question, yes, certified compostable materials and everything food related. It will depend on your company, the company that they are using.
And it sounds like at least one of the participants there looking at doing composting themselves. And I'm wondering if you can share a little bit about what led you to Black Earth specifically as a composting partner. And if prior to doing this whole district-wide composting effort, were there any smaller on-site composting efforts in any individual schools?
So our district is very urban. So we're in the middle of the city. We don't really have the room for composting in the schools. It's just not possible. There was also, I guess, community concerns about, rats. So I think the most easy solution for us was to hire an outside company to do that. We do have, however, in school gardens, at least that I know of, one, maybe two school gardens that they do have compost on site just for for the garden, which is like such a tiny amount that they can handle that. But the amount that we handle in the school cafeterias is so huge, you will have to, have a lot of room. And the other thing is also, I'm not so sure about that. I don't know, but if you're doing it on site, probably it's also much difficult to accept things like bones, chicken, meat and fish. And also, especially if you're using compostable trays and utensils, those are things that needs to be commercially composted. It's not possible on site. So these are things that needs to be taken into account. But I guess if there is the room, and I mean it's also nice, you can build the whole lessons into that, right? It's a little bit more difficult, especially if you're a very urban district.
Great.
Kudos to who have the space to do that.
And I will say there are some resources at the state level. I'm happy to follow up with individuals about like sort of waste and recycling municipal coordinators within the Department of Environmental Protection that can be a resource to schools that are looking at different waste management strategies. And there can sometimes be sort of phased in ways to do on-site composting. I've definitely seen school districts that decide if they're doing something on-site, they might be doing just like the cafeteria sort of kitchen waste. So what's coming up from food prep to start and not having the students compost in that first phase because that's a much more controlled, smaller project to start with. So happy to follow up with folks who are interested, and it looks like Recycling Works is a great resource for compost technical assistance for individual schools as well. Thanks for dropping that link in the chat. Other questions for our panelists or things people want to share, please feel free to drop in the chat. And Rebecca, I will send out the compost guide along with the recording to everyone who's been here. Is that compost guide something if people wanted to point their friends in the direction of it? Does it live on the Brookline School Nutrition website?
It lives in the town side. I can
Okay.
send you the link. Yeah, it's on the town side. Maybe we should put it also now that I realize.
I was just about to say we have to do
Like, yes,
some work on putting it in the website, in
Okay.
our website so people can access it or put more information about composting. I love seeing that video. That's my kids' school. I wonder why they weren't in it. But
Uh,
it was
I
such an
think we need to
amazing
do.
video and it's good to
Yeah.
see.
yeah.
I think we need to do an update on that because by now they're also using reusables and we have a couple of things that
Yeah.
are different. So maybe we need to do an update and they can be in the video.
Yeah.
It's good when you
Um,
can get even the principal involved in that. It's such a collaboration to have the entire school administration and kids are seeing that. And it's so exciting to see the principal being so involved that even the school mascot, the hawk, is composting. That's amazing. That's amazing.
and the mascot is actually the custodian. Who was the custodian?
Awesome. So we have two things in the chat. I want to point folks in the direction of an upcoming webinar, November 18th at 10, all about um, community scale composting models. Thanks for dropping that in. And then we also had a question about um, like what was involved in the trash audit. Was that something you guys planned yourselves? Did your composting company partner help put that on? What was the process that you guys did for the like that kind of trash audit?
Yeah, no, we put that together. That's also one of the things in the compost guide. So there is a like very comprehensive guide how to do that. Again, we would probably have to adapt to whatever the settings in your school, but basically we do both. It's weight and visual. So we so first of all, we put all the things in the trash, just in the trash, and then open and see what it is. So we take photos, we sort out, and we see what kind of items are the things that end up in the trash. And then we separate by recycle, trash, and compost, and then we weigh. And so that you can say, okay, from the total weight, this percentage was compost, this percentage was recycled, and this percentage was just trash. So you have also, and usually compost is like the most, recycle is like a really very, very, very low because there's not a lot of things that can be recycled. And if they are also dirty, you cannot. Anyways, that's how we do. Put everything outside, separated by compost, trash, recycle, and then weight all the things. And then you can do the same after a year and see the results. And so if you do that before you switch to reusables, you are going to get much more data because you are going to have like, especially the visuals, because ketchup packages, maybe they are not going to be like super heavy, but at the end of the day, they are going to, yeah. Yes, it's a lot of trash. It's going to be.
It's also helpful from a food service director's point of view when you're looking at the waste to see what items are in the waste. I was looking in that bin and I saw a lot of mozzarella sticks. Maybe we should take that off the menu. But it is helpful when you're looking at the waste to do your menu planning or analyze your menu and see maybe these items students are not receiving it in this way. So it is very useful not just to see the waste, but the information that we get guides what we put on our menu.
Great. Lots of appreciation for the hawk. Um, Wonderful. Any additional questions? Great. Well, I really want to thank Rebecca and Sasha for joining us today and sharing the story of how Brookline went to having such a robust compost program. We will be sharing out the recording and their excellent guide, and encourage folks to reach back out if you have additional questions or there's other ways that we can support your efforts as you explore composting in your own schools. Thanks so much for joining us, everyone. Have a great day.
Thank you.